So yesterday was WWDC 2023, and you remember the last time Apple launched something that changed the world forever in 2007? Yeah, that was the iPhone that we all use. So something similar to that happened yesterday, but not exactly. So let me explain what I mean. I know people are really hyped up about the Vision Pro, Apple Vision Pro, but let me explain what I mean by that. So in the keynote announcement, you can see how gorgeous the whole thing looks. Like the glass morphism, the colors, the gradients, the lighting, even the fact that the UI itself casts shadow on top of your real environment. That is crazy. Like that is something which would give you a real feel of depth, and the eye tracking is amazing. No other headset is doing eye tracking like the Vision Pro, which they showed. You can just point at stuff with the eye tracking technology. You can just look at stuff and choose what you want to interact with, and that is exactly how you're supposed to do it. Not like, pointing up and moving around like an in this space and like nobody else knows what you're doing. Like, no, that is uncomfortable. First of all, it looks weird from outside. I mean, also, let's be honest, like the Apple Vision Pro with the eyes peeking out of there, that looks weird too. But you just moving around like this, first of all, this is not comfortable because the amount of time it takes you to perform an action is so much more than it takes to perform the same action on a phone or a laptop, let's say. So you gotta like pick up your arm, reach out, and then tap or like pinch or whatever, and that was never going to work. It was always about keeping your hands where they are, trying to select what you want to look at, and that's how you interact. That is the first thing Apple did, which was amazing. Like that is the first thing I like the best about the Apple Vision Pro. The next thing is I really like how the whole user interface reacts to the lighting in the real world. Like this is not what Meta was trying to do. What Meta was trying to do with the Quest was trying to push people to move into a virtual world. That would have never worked because you need to stay grounded in reality while performing these actions. So what I really like what Apple is doing, because it puts you in the center. So the UI shapes around you. You don't go into a virtual space where you have to do things according to the things which are placed there. The UI changes according to where you are. Like the lighting on the glass of the UI changes. The next point I want to talk about is somewhat related to safety. So when you're wearing a headset, you're totally isolated from the outside world, almost like most of the time. So when you turn on the dial and like immerse in a, let's say, mountain view while you're watching, let's say, Avatar 2, and someone comes up to you, Apple figured out a way to let them know that you're like not looking at them, because the outside facing display shows like those gradients and flowing gradients and stuff, which they know that you're not looking at them. And when your eyes pop out of your screen in the headset, that means that now you're looking at them. And for you, the UI kind of fades away, like it becomes a bit transparent when someone comes up to you so that you can see them. So that is perfect. That is something which has not been done yet, and that is something which was a huge concern, but now it feels like this can work. So what does this innovation mean for us as designers? We have a lot to learn. We have to learn 3D, we have to learn spatial interactions, we have to learn about, there's a whole new dimension to all the interactions you're going to do, because all of it is suddenly 3D. Like now, what is in front of the screen, like it barely matters what's directly in front of your screen, because there can be multiple screens in front of you, and not just side by side, it can be like back and front too. Like let's say you click on a link on a website on Safari in the headset, like the tabs can be opened not just on the top like side by side, it can open in front, like it can just pop out and be in the front, and then you can just like scroll it somehow back to forward to maybe change the tabs if you want, or maybe just pick some other tab from the between, like from in between, and put it in the front like a stack of cards. Like there's so much you can do, and you don't need to stick to just like 2D glass panes. Like you can put so many interactions that take advantage of this new dimension that has been introduced with this whole new technology. So us as designers, we need to think the essentials and the basics remain the same, and you need to stick to those and break the conventions where you can and where you should. So you have to be really careful of how you like make your websites or apps or whatever you develop, experiences, spatial experiences, accessible and fun to use, most importantly, because this is a new toy, okay? And you have to make it fun to use, otherwise people are not going to catch it up. Like simple things, like let's suppose there's a music player, right? And in your spatial experience, you don't need it to just be like a glass pane where there's play, pause button, or forward, or volume up or down. It can be an old school gramophone, and you can take out, like there can be a list of your favorite records, or like, you know, like all your music can be in form of records, and you choose the record, put it in the gramophone, and it starts playing. And to pause it, you just pick up the pin. Like you don't need to just do this or this. You can actually like make gestures, like make it as if you're picking up the pin from the gramophone, and there's so much you can do. And as designers, I feel that we all should try to explore these different interactions and test it out, because this is new, and they've given this 1 year for people to catch up, for people to think of new ideas that they can do with this thing. And I feel that we should first try as many kinds of interactions as we can, all the different kinds of things we can do, and then like settle on, like then things will start to catch up, and then there would be new guidelines, new baselines of what a good design in spatial experience is, and that's how you figure things out. But right now we're in a very good phase where all of us as designers, as user experience designers, we can experiment as much as we want, and that is how this industry is going to move forward. So that's what I believe personally. So I'm just gonna try, and like obviously I can't have it right now, but I'm gonna try and emulate as many interesting experiences as I can. And obviously glass morphism and gradients, they're here to stay. I would like to end this video by providing you with some resources directly from Apple, which you need to look into if you're a designer, because like it's so interesting. Like they've documented each and every step, like the principles of spatial design, like how they're treating the depth factor. Then there's how to design for spatial user interfaces, and how to design for spatial input. Like looking at a search box, you don't need to just highlight it and like, you know, like have a, what do you call that, like a line cursor blinking, say, telling you that you can type now. It can be a moving flowing gradient, because you can talk to it now. You can talk into a text input field, and it'll fill out on its own. So I mean, there's so many things you can do, and everything revolves around three things: eyesight, where you're looking, your gestures, and then you have your voice or sounds. Like you can make so many immersive experiences, and also like treat your eyesight as like a focus point. Like you can blur things out. Like you can make so many kinds of games wherever you're looking at, focusing at, that's like, that is the active element, and rest everything is blurred. And maybe in a 3D environment, your eyes are treated like a DSLR camera, and wherever you're looking at, it's like focused, but everything else is blurred, and you can like take a screenshot, save photos. Like there's so many things you can do. There's so many ideas I'm getting right now after seeing the keynote, and I'm really, really excited. So all of the resources I talked about will be linked down below in the description, and I'll be making a few more videos about this, because I still feel that this is an amazing innovation. But in the beginning, when I said that this is not exactly what iPhone did in 2007. This is not it. And I'm going to talk about in the next video why this is not exactly what iPhone was in 2007. So keep watching my channel to know more about that video, and hope to see you in the next video. And don't forget to do the YouTube stuff like subscribe, like, comment, share, and see you in the next video.